Welcome back everyone to another video. Today I'm going to do something a little bit special, a little bit freaky if you will say. Today I'm going to do 3 movies at once because I was too busy to upload on Thursday and Friday. So if you have something to say about it, do so in the comments. Or you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy my schizophrenic movie about why I liked or hated these movies. For Thursday, a group of people I knew kept insisting that I watch the Poughkeepsie Tapes. And all I want to say is, you people are sick and strange creatures. This movie made me so uncomfortable, and it looks so realistic, and that was just one of the most insane mockumentary type film that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, this crazy thing is like, people actually thought the events of this movie were real, and I don't blame them for that. They did extensive research on how they make these true crime documentaries and incorporated these practices into this movie. I'm limiting on how long I want to edit this because I'd rather die than do that I'm just gonna give the bare bones plot of like this movie is probably all the ones we talk about today. So, the first we watch a man doing heinous acts to innocent people, basically brutally murdering, and that as a problem. That's a big issue for you, I guess, but this is all being presented as a mockumentary being made by the FBI to understand why he did this, who he is, and what made him flip to such a horrendous act of just evil. They do this to like insinuate the serial killer is real, and they're hoping that like this movie coming out in big picture movie theaters will draw him out, but they kind of ended off as that. And I will just say, this is the lightest summary I feel like I can give out to you to make you interested in this. But it's a lot. It is like terror. Well, what is? It feels like it's like real. Like you're watching like someone talk about the Gacy tapes from Netflix or something like that. But that's the end of the movie that I feel like I should talk about because I don't want to spoil the entire thing. It's like an hour and 30ish minutes on Amazon Prime. But to the person who recommended this to me, thanks for the new trauma, I guess. But as I said, if you feel like watching this, heavy trigger warning. And like I said, it's on Amazon Prime for free. So do with that information as you will, because we're going to move on to the next one. For Friday, we're watching 28 Days Later. But is what I would have said if it wasn't wiped off the face of the earth and it's become a world renowned lost artifact. But then I remembered the next best thing. George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 remake, except this one's directed by Zack Snyder. Okay, like I said in the other one, bare bones. This movie starts out with the lady having a seemingly typical boring old morning, but then she witnesses a zombie attack, and the zombie in question actually eats her husband. So she flees her home and crashes her car for a very obvious reason. She hits a zombie, you misogynist, but then she is lucky enough to crash near a mall and be saved by several people there. Now we think everything is okay because it seems like they're there for like a month. And I forgot to mention there's a pregnant lady there that was bit and gives birth. I'm not going to show it because it's pretty crazy. So you're going to freak out a little bit when that happens. One thing that made me so friggin' mad was when they left the safety of the mall. It was so stupid. They had everything there that could have kept them alive for like the longest time, and it was like 7 people in the mall, so they could have just saved everything there. But no, they decided they wanted to leave because the Sea of the Dead was just waiting behind for them, like behind a glass door. But if I'm being honest, all they really needed to do was set up some barriers. Like they could have grabbed some like of those benches. They could have opened literally any store and pulled stuff out and just put on the doors. But they just left, which was stupid. But I'm not gonna spoil more. The movie was like 2 hours long. It's really fun. Uh, I would say it was, or at least I did say it was directed by like George Romero. But if anything, it was inspired by him because there was an original Dawn of the Dead from him. But this was actually directed by Zack Snyder. So, of course, the acting and the scenarios of the people had to face were always over the top. But this movie holds a special place in my mind because it was just an pure, unadulterated, fun type of zombie flick. It's just borderline impossible to like find this movie stupid. Well, it was stupid at some parts. Just impossible to find it boring. But I will say, it was so hard to find this movie anywhere. Like, the only places you could find it was on, like, Peacock or, like, Paramount Plus for, like, 15, or not even Paramount. It was, like, Amazon. That's the one. For, like, $5. And I've already said I don't feel like paying for that. And Peacock didn't have it for free. You had to pay their own separate $15 subscription, which was actually criminal. But, I guess a pirate's life suits me just fine. And lastly, for Saturday, I chose to watch a certified hood classic. Now, I can't tell you how hard the movie I'm going to tell you hits, but the animation style, the portrayal of characters by these actors, the scenery, everything they've done. Oh, forgot to mention, it's also stop motion, and it's also produced by Leica. The movie in question is Coraline. Now, I know for a fact you guys have probably seen this movie, just like the other ones I mentioned, but it's still going to be another short summary. I mean, it's not like this movie's long, it's only like an hour and 30 minutes, but it's still so good. It came out like 14-ish years ago. They're even doing like a 3D screening at most movie theaters for it, which I think is a goated move on their part, because there's nothing better than rewatching a movie that you've seen on like a big screen. But we're gonna get into it now. We're gonna talk about the review, what I felt about it. We're just gonna do it. The movie follows a girl named Coraline who's forced to move into a new town and leave her old friends behind, all while showcasing how neglectful her parents seem, but in actuality, they do everything they can to provide for each other and Coraline. One day, Coraline finds a door in her house they're living in that leads to a better version of the world. Now, the reason they find this door, or Coraline finds this world, is because, like, she's depressed, and what better way to use this, like, horrible evil demon witch woman to use her like powers or whatever to like summon or open this door, be like, ooh, predatory act, I can smell depression on the brink of this house, so they just get her over. But since this leads to a better version of the world, uh it's got like better parents, better living conditions, just borderline 1,000 times better than what she's used to. But unfortunately, it's all a ruse, because a perfect person called Other Mother is actually a witch that steals the souls of children and their eyes and replaces them with buttons. So this means Coraline must face off against the Other Mother in order to save her parents, which she actually ended up having them get trapped in like this, like a snow globe. That's what they're called. But they were like stuck in there because she's a witch, of course. But she has help. With the help of a talking black cat, the souls of children, and some other people that the Other Mother made based off the tenants to like mimic them, but as like their perfected version. She's like able to save her parents with the help of all these people, and they have to get these like soul balls or whatever they're called to save them and fight the Other Mother. I won't spoil the ending in case you've lived underneath a rock for like 14 years. I seriously recommend this movie. I saw it on Tubi for very obvious reasons. And it's just like, I don't know how to put this. It's like one of the better versions of the Leica movies I've seen. I will say my number one is always going to be Paranorman. Love it. My favorite one they did, which I am reviewing tomorrow, by the way. But this is the end of the 2000s Saturday night movie triple feature Bonanza Fest. I hope you enjoyed this video just as much as I will later on today, editing this beast for several hours. And as always, I hope you enjoyed. Bye.